find out that you're lying, I'll cut your hairless little prick off before you even figure out what it's for. Do you understand me? You piece yourself.
Welcome back to the Happy Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror franchises. I'm Mark.
I'm Tawan.
Oh, Jan.
And today we're reviewing Orphan, released in 2009, directed by Jean Colette Serre, screenplay by David Leslie Johnson, and story by Alex Mace. Elion, can you give the people the plot summary?
A couple who adopts a 9-year-old girl named Esther after the death of their unborn child. Find out only to discover she's a psychopathic adult woman with a rare hormonal disorder that mimics childlike growth, and exploring the unsettling truth of Esther's identity and the violent, manipulative nature.
But before we get into our movie this week, let's go over some Haddonfield headlines. At the top of our list, the Toxic Avenger movie. I'm gonna read that over. The Toxic Avenger movie, which was brought back from the dead this year, via remake, which it was meant to come out like some years ago, but it got shelved. Then it got picked up distribution and came out this year. But the company behind the movie, or the distribution company, they teamed up with a nonprofit, Undo Medical Debt. And they used monies from the movie to clear $15 million in real life medical debt for U.S. citizens. And while it isn't, it isn't horror like news, it sounded like something good to just report on. I thought that was just a good little headline there.
That's the best thing about that movie. That's the best thing about that movie. We at some point, if I gotta rewatch the first one to see if it feels right. But at some point, I want us to cover the Toxic Avenger movies. I don't think I never got why that movie was being remade,
The
and
Toxic
I
Avenger movies. What is this about anyway?
literally
Because when you say
some nerdy man gets in the original, some nerdy man gets dumped in some toxic waste, becomes some big mutated monster who goes on to avenge shit. And I think
oh,
he fucked some lady in one of those movies, which I thought was really weird. But
okay, that makes more
yeah,
sense. Because when you said Avengers, I was thinking about fucking Avengers from Marvel.
no, like it's a weird movie. I don't know why they had like 2 or 3 sequels. I don't know why they did
Damn.
a. I don't know why they did a remake with Peter Dinklage. Like this is one of those weird campy '80s franchises that you leave in the '80s.
Yeah, I have
Right.
not actually seen the movies, nor and not in the new one as well. I mean, I didn't hear, I would say, much good things, but like horror fans are a little different, so we champion what isn't what the public doesn't for the most part. So I might eventually get around to it. I
Not
mean,
me. I don't champion it.
I'll probably watch worse movies, so
I
I
mean,
will get around.
we have watched worse movies for this podcast. So I will say that it's better than that.
Yeah, according to Elion, Talk to Me is one of, but
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. I honestly didn't think it would be that one that gets. I thought it'd be the Hereditary one.
I mean that too. That's even more egregious,
Well, no,
honestly.
I agree with you on Hereditary because I didn't like it was but it wasn't worth the hype.
Worst
Yeah.
though. See, I don't know. You see, when I hear worst is given bottom of the barrel. Worst is given you at Walmart, and it's in a $1 bin. Like,
I mean that
like.
Hereditary should be there. It should be discounted for 50 cents.
See, y'all both gotta go.
Come on.
I'll,
It's
Just,
I'll
okay.
let me start it from
just
the top. I'll reread the script. Oh my god. The next headline though, the Jason Universe team doubles down on their promise of a Friday the 13th movie
Here they go.
coming in the franchise. So
Again.
the rights issues have finally been worked out, and Jason Voorhees is back in our lives. With the Jason Universe team resurrecting the horror icon earlier this year to bring a brand new chapter in his historic legacy. That new chapter, as we know now, includes the short film Sweet Revenge and the TV series Crystal Lake, which will come out sometime next year, if I'm not mistaken. But what about a new movie? Jason Universe's Barzamanian. Sorry. Jason Universe's Robbie Barsamian recently teased that a Jason Voorhees movie and video games are in the works, as we said in previous episodes, and he doubles down on those comments in an interview that was just published in the new issue of SFX magazine. Barsamian teases that we are actively working on a new movie, which will be the 13th in the franchise, as well as a new video game. We are exploring a variety of opportunities, but consistently staying focused on authenticity. So, we've spoken on this at large at this point on, the return of like Jason and all of this. I don't know. Like, it's just kind of one of those things. I think I said it before. When it comes out, I'll go see it. Is it something I'm pining after? No. But also, I feel like it shouldn't be hard to fuck up. If I had to pick someone to direct it, I probably would get whoever did that movie In a Violent Nature. The one that was for like the slasher from the first person perspective. No, it was just
Hmm.
from the perspective of the killer
Oh,
in
one
the
that
movie.
had who was the actor in there? Was it he was the guy from The Office, right?
Uh,
No, no, that's the happy face person. No, I'm mixing them up.
yeah, I don't think there were any notable names in that movie in about the nature, but I feel like that movie kind of captured the vibe of like the older, like the Friday the 13th type of style, and I think it could, they could do something shake with the modern adaptation of the actual franchise that they were inspired off of. But
You know,
I mean,
I'm one of those
I don't
people who's been I'm one of those people who've been clamoring for a new Jason movie since 2009. Like I've been watching everybody else get their reboots or whatever, but not Jason. I've been waiting on it. Like
Can we
what?
go ahead? I was gonna say, can we have Kelly and then it's saying,
No, no, we can't have her back. No, we can't acknowledge that ever again. um, um, like my only thing is like Tuan, when you say the rights issues have been like fixed, like what does that like? What do they mean? Like had the two parties come together and like we go make a joint project together? Like is that what's going on?
Well, I can only go off what they put in this article, and they just say the rights have been resolved.
See, no, like I can't get my hopes up for that because Victor Miller only has the rights to whatever happened in that first movie. But in like two to the remake is owned by that one guy. Now,
Well, I'm assuming the rights would have had to been. They probably worked it out with whom you're referring to because Jason is involved.
yeah, I mean, well, but you no, Steve Miner, he can have Jason in his movie. He just can't have like Camp Crystal Lake. He can't have Kid Jason. He can't have Pamela.
But I
But
mean,
like,
they're doing the TV show, so if they're
he
saying all of
could,
this is under if all of this is under the Jason Universe moniker, including the Crystal Lake show, which will have
I,
Pamela and all that, I feel like it would have to be.
I'm gonna be straight up. I don't trust nothing them Jason Universe people put out. I don't trust none of that shit. Unless I see a logo, until I see a logo on the episode or I see a credit on the episode that says Jason Universe, I don't care. They don't none of that sound legitimate. Sound
I
fake.
mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's literally not though.
I don't trust it. I ain't gonna trust it until I see it. And then, even though I want Jason movie back, what are you gonna do? See, it's gonna feel like my fear is they're gonna do this Jason movie, and it's gonna be too late. They missed the mark. They missed that like when Halloween was coming out, when they were trying to bring back Leatherface, when they bringing back Pinhead. That was the time I needed to bring Jason back, and I feel like they missed that time. It's just gonna feel like, oh, this is dead. This is tired. We've already did this, that. Now here comes Jason.
We shall see. But since we are on the topic of Jason, for our
True.
fans, for our horror fans who are also video game fans, Fortnite and Call of Duty have released their collaborations for their Halloween season, and Jason is going to be in both games. Yeah, so Jason will have skins in both Call of Duty and Fortnite for their Halloween events. For Call of Duty specifically, in addition to Jason, they're going to have Predator and Chucky, which I'm interested to see because is this going to be a big ass? Is this going to be a regular sized person as Chucky? Like, how are we doing this? I need to know how they're doing that for Call of Duty. But
They're gonna do it
uh,
like Nicki Minaj.
in no, well, she's already regular size though.
Oh, you meant like the height there. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. I thought you were talking about like how they're gonna make it. I'm
No,
sure they're gonna make it like
the actual height. Like, I'm like, are they just gonna make it look like a regular height person and like Chucky?
get the
um,
fuck.
that's what I'm wondering. But in Fortnite, on the other hand, we will have Scooby Doo in the Halloween event. Jason Voorhees, the Grabber from the Black Phone, which that name is still crazy.
The
And last but not least, Ghostface will be in Fortnite. So I already have my coins in the game. I'm ready to buy it whenever it comes out because Fortnite knows how to empty my little wallet.
I'm also trying to get my little 100 skin.
Oh yeah, those two. Moving on, we have some news on Predator Badlands. So, I don't like how I introduced that. I'm gonna read that. Moving on, we have some updates on Predator Badlands, and it has been revealed that the movie will be sporting a PG-13 rating and not
Wow.
an R rating. Now, I was reading about this, and when I first read the headline about that, I was a little like, ugh, why is it PG-13? Blah, blah, blah. But then I remembered that this movie will be only on like Predator Alien, like not Predator, like but Predator planets, and it won't be any humans involved. So there's not any human blood, which counts towards an R rating. So it's just gonna be like violence against like the other predators. So technically, that probably grants a lower rating than R. But but the director said that they are definitely pushing that PG-13 rating, and I think it'll still make for a good movie. Um, and in addition, the movie Prey, which was the predecessor to Predator Badlands and brought back the Predator franchise, it will be playing in theaters for the first time with Predator Badlands as a double feature on November 5th. It looks like this will probably only be in AMC theaters, which I'm an A-list member. So I will be going to see this double feature. because I wanted to see Prey in theaters, and Mark said it should have stayed on Hulu. Look where
Oh,
we are now. And in our last two articles for today, we have our director for Final Destination 7. Um,
mm,
they have not pinned any release date for the movie, but we know that it is coming. One of the co-writers from Bloodlines will be pinning the script for the movie, and the director will be Belgian filmmaker Michael Blanchard, who he is an up and coming. He's an up and coming director. It looks like he's only had one full length movie called Night Call, which released earlier this year. Apparently, it's a pretty good movie. I have not seen it myself, but it was the director's debut. So apparently, he did good enough for it to get Final Destination 7, and he also has a short film that is getting turned into a feature-length movie with producer Sam Raimi. So he seems to have some good backing behind him, and I hope that everything turns out good for him. We all loved Final Destination Bloodlines.
This
I
is gonna
actually
be
just
Final
watched.
Destination 4 all over again.
don't say
It's gonna be
that.
bad. It's gonna be bad.
You
Don't.
didn't
Mark
even
my
know.
words.
You didn't even know
Mark
the
my
people going
words.
into Bloodlines.
But that don't matter.
Mhm.
Mark my
Yeah,
words.
exactly, exactly. You didn't know the
Haters.
people going into Bloodlines. We were just talking a while ago how we need new directors, new talent. We can't keep using the same old shit.
Not when
So
you
like,
already successfully brought back a dead franchise. We don't do that yet. Give them a
what do you
third
mean?
movie.
What do you mean a third movie?
Give these new people the third movie. But bring back the same team from Bloodlines to keep it going in the next one.
They probably didn't want to come back. I'm pretty sure they probably would have offered the chance to come back with how successful it was. We're only getting one of the co-writers. We're only getting one half of the writing team back, who's penning the script for the seventh one. I'm sure with how successful the movie was, they didn't just drop them. I'm sure it was you guys want to come back? We're doing other shit. All right, we need somebody else. This guy looks promising. I'm excited. Last but not least, though, for our Haddonfield headlines, Smile and A Quiet Place will be getting comic adaptations released in
Oh.
2026. Now, these will actually be original comic book movies in the said universes for both movies. Um, for Smile, which will be called Smile for the Camera, it'll be set in 2005 around a group of international models. So that sounds pretty interesting. Honestly, that's pretty good for Smile. I wouldn't mind actually seeing that in the movie universe, doing the modeling world for the type of movie that Smile is. That's a lot of shit that you can play off of with that. Pretty to be pretty honest, and the Quiet Place will. The Quiet Place story seems as if it will be about a group of Midwesterners who have traveled down to Mississippi during a storm, while
They
the
gonna milk that
alien.
franchise for everything it's worth.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you
it's
can. The
only
franchise
a
itself
comic
is like an
though.
open.
It's just a
The fr-
comic though.
But it's not bad, so like the way that the story made, it's so open concept that you can make a lot with.
TBH. But that wraps up our Haddonfield headlines this week.
Now, let's move on over to Orphan. Since this was Elion's movie, Elion, give us your initial thoughts.
So when I first watched the movie, I actually had no idea it was actually based on like in a horror movie because like this movie came out when I was 9 years old. I genuinely thought it was about like a girl going through some unfortunate stuff in her life, However, when I was watching the film, I was very shocked on how gory it was. And that's a lot to, that's not really much to say for a 9-year-old who hasn't watched. I think Orphan was one of the first films that introduced me to horror. But I, even rewatching it, I'm like, this, like, I never realized how fucked or like how sad it was. And on top of that, for a movie to be in 2009 and to have this much gore and like the way that it was set, it was just like, it was it was very messed up. And the worst thing is finding out this film was also based on an actual person back. I forgot what era, but it was based on a film about a girl, a woman, a 33-year-old woman who basically, I think, is escaped into the Czech Republic and basically told the people that adopted her, in a sense, her and her sister, and one of the sisters had a two siblings, no, two kids, and she actually got them to torture them, thinking that there was something satanic, evil possession, and like I was like, it was very dumbfounded, especially with that new story that happened like maybe a year or two ago. They made a Hulu movie out of it, but um even watching it now after rewatching it, the film still is like really good. I really like the concept. On top of that, it surprises me that even though I never forgot it, it still gets like, I'm not talking about like it's like jump scare or anything. It's just fucked up, like psychological.
Yeah, so for Orphan, I definitely remember seeing this one like around, like not around the time it came out, probably a little bit after. I know I didn't go see this in theaters, but definitely remember um, either getting this one through like Netflix back in the day, um, or like Redbox, something like that. But yeah, I liked it. I always like a good like thriller type movie. Um, but even though this one is kind of like they put it in the category of like a more like a slasher, I've seen people put it in. I don't know if I'll call it that, but I see this movie as more of a thriller than anything. Which either way,
Right.
it's still like a very like still very good movie. I definitely didn't see the ending coming like when I first watched it. Um, that ending, like when the reveal happens, it always catches everybody off by surprise when they
Yeah.
first watch it. And but it pays off like really well the way they get to it. Um, all the performances in this movie are pretty good. Vera Farmiga, she's always good. Like she's always really good. But Isabel Furman, her as Esther, like especially with how young she was at the time, like pulling off this role, like she was really fucking good with how she was pulling this off. Um, and then you got Peter Skarsgård, bitch ass. Oh my god, he was doing too good as the shitty husband in this movie, a little too good for my liking. Um, but yeah, overall, like cast was really good there. Um, the vibe, I like the overall like visual vibe of the movie as well. It was kind of muted, like even though they just adopted a child, like they're so happy to adopt this child, like you would think it would kind of brighten up their lives, but nothing changed. Everything was still just as dark from before even to after they adopted Esther. And yeah, I just props to Kate or Vera Farmiga's character in the movie because she was getting put through it. She was getting put
God, I felt
through.
so bad.
I feel so bad for her. She's getting put through so much shit in this movie. Um, But yeah, this is definitely one of those ones that I haven't come back to in a while. But whenever someone brings it up, I'm always like, yeah, yeah, you should check that out. That's a good movie.
Yeah, and for me, I remember watching this movie when it around the time it first came out and not knowing anything about it and not expecting that twist at the end, like at all. Like when she started taking the makeup off and shit, like I was not. prepared for that, and I was like, wow, this is actually an interesting like way to do this because I remember initially watching the movie. I thought it was going to be have any one of you ever seen that Macaulay Culkin movie when he was a kid when he was
Oh,
like
the
Yeah.
good son.
Which one's it?
good
Yeah.
son? Yeah.
Yeah,
So like that's what I thought we were kind of getting. That's what I thought I was watching up until the reveal scene. And I was like, oh, this is not what I thought was going on the entire time.
No.
And so like that twist always just like blew my mind. And I don't know, I've also been obsessed with Vera Farmiga for a very long
Mhm.
time. So that was like another reason I watched this when I was a kid. And this movie actually holds up pretty well. Like now in 2025. So like it was good to rewatch. And I don't know why I'm ever surprised when I see a Skarsgård in a movie and they acting their ass off. Because those Skarsgård men, like they just be shit. And it was like whenever I rewatch old shit and I just see one of them pop up, like what the fuck is you? What you were in this? So that was also good to
they
see. But
each got their own little shit. Peter. He always be like near the villain type of shit,
hmm
and then you got Alexander always doing some freaky shit. Um,
always.
the one who played Pennywise is always doing some creepy shit, and then Stellan he just be in his own little world.
Yeah, he be paying the dad, the doctor. I was like, sir, they put your old ass in every role they possibly can. Cause why are you with Mama Mia?
Yeah.
Like why are you dancing and singing in Mamma Mia and then I'm watching you as this like smart doctor dude in a Marvel movie? Like, come on now.
No, for real.
Um, I wanted to add something just to
hmm
like piggyback you guys. It was like that ending really caught off guard. I don't think there had been a film like that, especially like I think what the condition she has like hyperpituism. It's a form of dwarfism, and like for me is like even though that was like such a shocker, I just want to go back to what I said. I think what I got more afraid of, it was based on a true film, not a true story, but the character was based on someone per se, and I think that's what makes it more scary because like you really don't know what happened. I could be incorrect on this. You guys can correct me on this portion, but wasn't there like something like people were afraid to even go into orphanages after this film was set? Like they were like afraid that this was going to happen to
it
them.
it was something like that. They got some backlash about that. They had to change some stuff around. Well, moving on from that, going over to the scenes that stood out to us. The scenes and I guess the kills that stood out for us, the good, the bad, the indifferent, and for me, hopping in like the main kill for me is not the main scene for me is that reveal. Like nothing beats that in this entire movie
Hmm.
because that reveal was just again because I thought we were getting a completely different kind of movie, and then that reveal just like fucked my entire head and thought process up, and like rewatch value and you start to like notice things and notice how she's like leaning towards the dad. It's like, oh, okay, these things make sense now. But like that reveal was like insane. And then that hospital scene
Oh
where
my
Vera
god,
Farmiga character slapped the shit out of her. Like
Yes.
oh,
Like, do it.
she's like,
Hit her
what you
again.
doing, little bitch?
Hit
like
her
I
again.
was
Get one
taken
in for me.
aback. I was taken aback.
Like, even if she was just a little girl, she deserved another one and another one and another one.
Mhm. Then also like the scene where she was in the little boy's room and she had the little knife to his
Yeah.
privates, talking about I'm gonna cut this off before you even know what to do with it. Like, ma'am, please calm down. Please step away. Please. Like you losing your mind. Please don't do this. Please don't. I don't want to see this. Take this kid out any other way, but not this way, please. Please don't do that. Um Outside of that, honestly, the dad got what he deserved. I was okay with that. He got
Yo,
exactly the whole third act. He was pissing me off. Like, what are we doing here, sir? Please stop. So I was okay with that. What about you guys? What scenes and kills stood out for you?
Um, for me, I think the opening scene was just messed up as well. Like I don't know why, but it reminded me of the Hills. I don't know which film, Hills Have Eyes, where she was having that the baby, and the fact that basically they proceeded into doing an abortion, and then giving her the remains of the baby, which I thought was so fucked up. And the thing is, like, even though it was just one of those nightmares, it's the idea of like, did they really do this to this poor woman? Um, I think one other scene that really got me was I don't want to say the scene that you just said because obviously it was such a good twist and the realization of it. But one of my favorite scenes was how she was finally putting it all together, the mother, and how she's like realizing she's not crazy because obviously you can tell from the beginning of the film, even though she was already like going to a degenerate state, her mind, her like mentality was going low and low, and only for her to realize that she was actually correct and giving it just gave her like that like a final hope, like she's not crazy, she knows what she's seeing and she knows that this is happening. um for me it was the treehouse scene as well because I'm like, damn, she really she will make anybody just like die just because she does not like um one of the one scene that really fucked me up, and it's just because it involved the nun. It was like how she was literally hammered to death, and how they made it so, in a sense, like the camera viewer, like, no, one scene showed me how determined Esther was to fucking sell it, and it's when she fucking broke her own hand, her own arm, just to prove the point. I was just like, that's fucked up. The fact that
That
you
was
could put your own
diabolical.
pain, that was just like
no, that was
the
crazy.
determination. Oh my god, it was so fucking. And I think the other one is like, when she has that art scene, even though we find out it was a picture of them fucking, mom and dad fucking, but her turning it on and off shows like how she's too fake, showing like what people want. She portrays to people, and then the realization of what she really her 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 insidious ideology. But my last favorite scene was when they were in the ice, when she was like, "Mommy, don't hurt me." And he's like, "I'm not your fucking mommy," and she kicks that bitch right back into the lake.
I would say for me, one scene that I liked was when Max saw what was happening and stopped her from fucking killing her brother. Honestly, I felt bad for any scene that involved Max because that little girl was going through it the entire movie. Like she was in the car seat when Esther, when mom got out and Esther put that shit in neutral or reverse, so she'll go back. Um, when she killed Sister Abigail, like Esther pushed her out into the road and it forced her to drag the body. Like Max was just going through it the entire time. Like I felt so bad for that little girl.
That little
Um,
girl went through much.
yeah, she saw a lot. Another scene that I feel like this is when Esther should have got slapped the first time, is when she pulled out those fucking flowers from
Oh
Jessica's grave
my!
and then presented them to Kate, because you knew, like, obviously, yes, she knew what the fuck she was doing, but even as a child, like, you knew what she was doing, and it's like, I should have slapped shit out of her there. I'm sorry. Um, Also, just like any scene where Esther was like getting the upper hand, because that shit was just pissing me off. I'm like, oh my god, I hate this bitch. Like, I hate this little bitch. Even before I knew she was old, I was like, oh my god, I hate this little bitch. Like, somebody get her ass out of here. And just like Mark said, that's exactly how I felt watching The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin. I'm like, oh, somebody get rid of this evil little boy. Like, that's exactly how I felt watching this movie. Um, Another The fucking hospital scene where she tried to wait, because it was it confirmed that she did kill the brother right in the hospital.
No, he lived.
No,
They brought
he
him back to life.
survived. He
Okay, yeah,
survived.
but
But
when she
it there
tried
are
to,
there
Yeah,
are
right.
deleted
She tried to.
scenes. There are
Yeah.
deleted. She tried to. I do know in the original version he did die, but in the theatrical version he survived. They found a heartbeat the last minute,
okay, because I don't know why I feel like he died. I know you said it
but
was
she tried to
deleted,
snuff
but
him out.
yeah,
Yeah,
she definitely tried. She tried to get his ass twice. That was crazy. But he was a little shit though at times. But he wasn't like on Esther level. Like I don't think he needed to die. Like he probably just needed a little therapy or something. But I
I
don't think he
just
needed
think that
to
like
die.
he immediately clocked that some shit wasn't right, and he kept
Yeah.
on bringing it up and kept on being a dick. So like he was drawing too much attention to her, so he had to go.
But yeah, outside of
Um,
that, I don't have any other ones.
I have one more. Sorry.
Go for it.
I I I had such a satisfaction when that bitch was pushed off. I don't give a fuck. Irritated me so much. I'm so happy her little leg got fucked up.
Now moving on to the characters section. Let's start with Sister Abigail. Now I get what she was doing. You know, she gave that family Esther. She was quite concerned, but she was doing too much. Like Sister Abigail, stay at the orphanage, stay looking over the children. Why are you becoming an investigator? Why are you phoning people and getting numbers and all like also would you have done this when Esther first arrived to the orphanage? Wouldn't you have done due diligence before giving Esther to these people? You want to do it now afterwards because it was mentioned? Insane.
You're right. Um, I mean, I don't, you're right in real life, like in the real life sense. In the movie sense, unfortunately, we know how it is. But she, we definitely needed her to aid in pushing Kate forward to figuring more shit out. And that was that, and that, but that shit, that was the only purpose that she kind of served, to be quite honest. Um, But she was trying, if I'm recalling correctly, she was trying to like push them away from Esther in the first place. Like, but they were so persistent in wanting Esther. Like, if I'm, because yeah, if I'm not mistaken, she was trying to get them to look a little younger, but they wanted Esther. So I mean, if they was listening to Sister Abigail, they probably wouldn't have been through shit.
Elliot, what are your thoughts on John and the kids? I didn't want to separate the three.
Um, John was just there. That's all I'm gonna say. John was just there to give Esther the pre-approved daddy issues that she had. Um, the kids, I hated the brothers so much. I didn't hate him because he was just such a dick. He had every reason to feel like a dick. He felt like he was being replaced, especially by Esther. Um, I felt bad. What's her name? Max, right? I felt so bad. Just what Juan said and him back. She did not need to go through what she had to do at that age, especially being a deaf girl. And like, oh my, like and the fact that she was basically an accomplice, even though she didn't want to, she was there just out of fear. But at least she had the confidence to try to. Um, like, there's nothing I could say about John though. John was just one of those characters where you like he basically makes Kate feel like crazy. He makes everything look fine. He kind of wanted to be like the fun dad, even though he was just making it work. Oh, and until that, he just made it. I felt like he just kept blaming Kate for everything. Like I feel as if like he still has that. I feel like he has a hate or like I don't know, like an urge or like a pain to see Kate and just wants to make her feel bad, especially like after the miscarriage and everything. I just felt like maybe he just had some resentment towards her, and that's why he couldn't believe his own wife.
Juan, what are your thoughts on John and the kids?
I will piggyback off Elion and say he was definitely not useful at all um, throughout like anything, because one, I feel like he even before Esther, it just didn't seem like he was being kind to Kate about what she was going through, about like the postpartum and stuff. And it's I'm not gonna say I get it. I get because like nothing. I'm not. I had a partner like nothing like that or anything. Anybody said like postpartum or known anybody who's been through postpartum, but like that's a delicate thing to go through, and that takes a while to like get over. And the way that he was handling it, like before, and then especially after they got Esther, um, it was just not being handled correctly as like a husband should be doing for his wife. And I get like your wife had like alcohol, like a alcohol addiction and all that type of stuff, and but you it's like you need to hear her out, and he wasn't hearing her out, and he ended up paying a price for it once we got to the end of it all, because he just wasn't listening. um I mean, the kids, I don't like put them at fault for anything. um Daniel just saw too much, unfortunately, and that's why he got, and Max couldn't say shit. So like that's what,
Literally.
yeah. So she couldn't say anything. So that's why Esther kind of put her on the back burner. But also Esther was kind of like used, like she was using her as well, almost like a sidekick. And I feel like she thought she had her like someone who was just gonna like aid her the whole time. But once she saw that, um, Max pushed her out the way before she could try to kill Daniel outside. Um, she knew she had to like keep an eye on her as well. So not that I don't put much on them, but the husband though, yeah, he needed to go.
The kids really, like, the actors themselves did an amazing job. They like really did a well job in playing these roles well. Like, I felt like it feels like it's kind of hard, especially with a child actor. And I felt like they actually sold their part. They did what they had to, and they just made it more. They just made it more, or like it didn't feel phony. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like a fake act.
Well, Juan, what are your thoughts on Kate?
I liked Kate. I like the way Vera Farmiga was playing her in the movie. She was obviously going through a lot. She like postpartum, losing a husband, um, just general like marital issues, and not being able to like drink and stuff anymore because that was her outlet for the longest. And she thought that bringing in Esther would like not like heal, but help mend that kind of wound from losing the daughter Jessica that they lost through the childbirth. So it's like everything was kind of like there for her. But once she came in and Esther started doing shit, I just felt so bad for her character the entire time. And it's always the worst when when you can tell like our main character is like a pretty good person, and but then they have to deal with some bullshit, and it's not even like regular bull, like just life bullshit. It's like, oh, this little bitch just broke her arm through a tool because to try to make it seem like I broke it grabbing her. Like, this ain't regular shit we're dealing with here. And I felt so bad for her like throughout it, but she was not just gonna take it like sitting down and you know did what she had to do. to protect her family because fucking the husband wasn't going to do it. Like he was just he went back to the house and started drinking himself. Um, After the hospital and all that stuff. So she was putting in the work, and I'm glad that all said and done in the movie, she could go back to her nice ass house with her two kids and be done with it.
Elian.
Um, piggybacking on what Juan said, I think more is just like how it was just it was a good symbolism how what poker can do to a person, especially mentally and emotionally. But it was just more of like, even if you don't experience it, it's the fact that you understand what she went through in the sense of like, no one believing her and the fact that people made her feel insane, especially. And it just made it worse for her mental state of mind, which is something that a lot of people do have difficulties with, especially in today's society. Even back then, I know it's so funny that I'm using symbolism out of it, but it was just sorry. Um, but it was just like it was a really good it was really good imagery. Um, and just like Twan said, like she can go back to her kid and actually be a hot girl for one because that man is out of her life literally.
Juan, what are your thoughts on Esther?
Man, as I said, when I first watched this movie, nothing could prepare me for what that ending was about to be. And when you found out this was a whole grown ass woman the entire time doing this shit, fucking with these kids and like and this woman and trying to get her husband, like what are you I was about to say are you crazy, but I mean look at the material. Like but she was so conniving, like, oh my god. But this also just goes to show how good Isabel Furman's like performance was, because like I forget, I gotta look it up because I honestly forget how old she was or how young she was when she did this, because she was not that old when this was first filmed, and for the performance that she did, um, that like it was pretty crazy. Um, and I think like for what was like asked of her to do at the age she was, she did a phenomenal job. Um,
Oh
at the
wow, she was
time,
12 years old.
You said 12.
Yeah, damn,
Yeah,
she did a
that's
great job.
yeah, like that's a lot to ask for a child actress. She did a really good job with what was given, what was asked of her. And Esther's character was just like she's just a little evil little shit. Even though it's a grown woman, she's still a little shit. But that's all I have to say. Because like she was just she disgusts me.
Elian.
Literally, she was just like any other bitch with daddy issues, like dead ass. She literally killed all the men that didn't love her back, which I found really creepy because she was a child. Like, she obviously has like internalized. She has something fucked up going on in her head mentally, and something happened to her as a kid. The only thing we know is like just like Tom said, she's crazy, and we saw that she was literally in a mental institute. And the fact that mental institute didn't help her, shit, I don't know what. Um, but I I really have not much to say because Swan kind of said everything that I wanted to say, to be fair. I kind of just wish there was more history on Esther. Obviously, aside from the mental institute, I wish there was like more, like maybe the diary actually revealed what she went through as a child per se. I wish there was something more like that. But that's all I can say.
Tuan's gonna lead taking us through the behind the scenes info and facts. Tuan.
So, Orphan had a budget of 20 million and it brought in a box office of 78.8 million. Some interesting facts. The film's content depicting a murderous adoptee was not well received by some adoption groups. The controversy caused filmmakers to change a line in one of their trailers from "It must be difficult to love an adopted child as much as your own" to "I don't think mommy likes me very much." Vera Farmiga, who plays Kate, is an accomplished pianist and was reportedly angry at the editing of her music scene. That's funny. Isabel Fuhrman won the 2009 Fright Meter Award for Best Actress for her performance in this film. The screenplay for this film was featured on the 2007 Blacklist, a list of the most liked unmade scripts of the year. And this film was shipped to theaters under the code name Infant Terror. Some critics' reactions. It currently sits at a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave Orphan 3.5 stars out of 4, writing, "After seeing Orphan, I now realize that Damien of The Omen was a model child. The Demon Seed was a bumper crop. Rosemary would have been happy to have this baby. Here is a shamelessly effective horror film based on the most diabolical of the movie malefactors, a child. You want a good horror film about a child from hell? You got one." The New York Times wrote, "Actors have to eat like the rest of us, if evidently not as much, but you still have to wonder how the independent film mainstays Vera Farmiga and Peter Sarsgaard ended up wading through Orphan and for the most part not laughing." Surprising that I was kind of surprised that Roger Ebert gave this such a pretty high rating.
But enough about them. What about us? Do we cash or pass Orphan? Elian?
I'm gonna cash it just because even after all this time, it still gives me the creeps, and it's still one of those films where like I can still go back and watch it and still enjoy it without like having to be bored. So cash.
And for me, it's also going to be a cash. It was still a good movie. It's still intense. I still felt that same, like, it had been so long, so actually seeing the reveal was still kind of a little bit of shock. And seeing a dad get what he deserved was very satisfying. This was a good movie. Like I said earlier, it still holds up. So it is a cash for me. What about you, Tuan?
Yeah, this will also be a cash for me. I think this movie still holds up really well. I hadn't seen it in a while, so it was like a good little refresher to come back to it. I think as far as, thrillers go, um, this sits up there really good. And it's definitely one of those movies that, you'll recommend to someone who hasn't seen it because the reveal is always surprising. So with that, I would definitely give it a cash. And now I have to find someone who hasn't seen this movie to show them.
Well, join us next week as we watch Orphan First Kill. I actually haven't seen. Well, I've seen parts of this movie, but I haven't seen it fully. I kind of know what it's about, so I'm excited to see it. But that's next week. Until then, good night.
If you like this episode, please be sure to check out some from the Haddonfield Horror Cemetery, where we've covered big franchises such as Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Saw, or one-off reviews like The Blackening or Hereditary. You can follow Haddonfield Horrors on Instagram and TikTok, where the host posts updates and mini reviews. Full episodes are available on several podcasting platforms, including Spotify, as well as YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is produced by Mark Smart, Tawan Griffin, and Elian Cordova, themed by Lethal Injection, and edited by Mark Smart.
The Haddonfield Horror Podcast is a letter to media production.
Should we do an intro?